Hello, we're back, everybody, for our halftime segment after game number 1, where Immortals Challengers are on their way to the 4-0 weekend. They can make it happen with one more victory here.
One more win is all they need. We said they needed to do it. We said that this was going to be the thing that they really needed to kind of turn their season around. Having so much momentum going into the last week will probably be very helpful, especially as I start looking towards playoffs.
Exactly. This is a team that historically, especially with players like Joey, he's even talked about this in the past, where like they scale with the season. Like sometimes they don't start off too strong, but come playoffs, that's when they actually have what he calls like the clutch factor. Now, Tigers, I don't know if you know this, but the clutch factor only activates once they get knocked into the lower bracket in playoffs, but then it turns on.
That's when it turns on.
It has to be the lower bracket.
Yep.
Yep.
So they in the first game or the first round just on purpose.
Just because.
Just because.
You need to make sure you get the best timing of the clutch factor coming through, and hopefully we'll get to see a little bit more of that. But Steve.
Yeah, I'm stalling.
I know.
I'm stalling.
I know.
Yeah, is there something that you really don't feel like doing? Is that?
Well, not particularly, Gabby. We did make a bet going into that last game, and Lunacia did not live up to my expectations, getting 2 solo kills on ADD. So you all gave me ingredients. Do you remember the ingredients that you gave me to go hunting for?
Horseradish, black beans, milk, and pepper.
Specifically, Gabby, what kind of milk?
Warm milk. And then the pepper was because I was like, oh, wait, there's horseradish. I don't know, something so the milk doesn't just neutralize it. Pepper. And
all right, so the goal, something food Kangas. I love the name of this halftime show. The goal was I was going to go to the grocery store down the street during the game, listen to the game, and I was going to grab these ingredients because we don't have all of them. But Cubby parked behind my motorcycle, so I could not get out and make the trip. So we're making it work with what we have. I have the ingredients. Sans the horseradish. I do not have horseradish. And the milk was in the fridge. I just pulled it out of the fridge, and I don't know how warm it's going to be at this point.
You didn't like microwave it? They do that for babies.
You know, I probably could have done that. I didn't go to that extent. Would you like me to right now, the Tigers? If you could fill for like a minute, I could.
You know, yeah. Run.
All right,
Well,
we're good.
We're going to make the shot, and then you're going to microwave the shot instead of your
I have to do the whole thing?
Yeah, that's my co-caster right there.
All right. So here we go. We got the milk. We got the beans. While I'm building this, I don't know. I guess let's talk about the game. Why wasn't Lunacia able to get 2 solo kills against a Poppy? I don't understand.
He was actually very close. He was very close on a couple of occasions, but not quite able to pull it out. And I feel like one of the big things here is as you actually see the Jax versus the Poppy, I'm already just like... I sometimes have a hard time watching people eat gross things, so this is going to be a little tough for me.
The milk
too.
doesn't... It says it's not expired, but it kind of smells like it is. But you know what?
I didn't need to know that.
We're
Sorry,
committing.
go ahead, Gabby.
Is it harder? Because it's not like you're watching a video. You're about to see this right next
How many
to you,
beans?
Joshi.
5 beans?
Five is enough.
Five. Oh, one fell off. We get 4
How many
beans.
did Jack need for the beanstock?
4 beans.
However many that is.
We're going to have to do something with these black beans after.
It
This
is,
was my
in fact,
last
a
can
riot
of
shot
black
glass.
beans.
Oh,
Yeah. All right, we got the
Very on
pepper.
theme.
Yeah, there are
Now-
4 beans inside.
Sorry to hijack the conversation again. Instead of the horseradish, I did bring alternatives. I got hot sauce, I got Parmesan cheese, I got mustard, or I got a type of barbecue sauce I really wish I could plug the name of because it's very funny.
Very tasty.
But it's barbecue sauce.
It's
so,
barbecue sauce.
Tigers, what out of those 4, what's replacing the horseradish?
So you said it was Parmesan cheese, mustard, barbecue sauce, and what?
Is that enough pepper?
Little more.
Little more pepper. Mustard, Parmesan cheese, hot sauce, barbecue sauce.
Okay, I'll say
There you go.
That good?
That's good. That's
mustard.
good. Mustard.
Mustard.
That was my thought too. I'm glad we're on the
We
same
can't
page.
really
Yeah,
get it. I
yeah.
don't know if the camera's gonna like pick up the pepper.
I can guarantee that there's pepper in there. I watched him grind it.
I think I see like on the top. You can see the layer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't like tilt it because it's liquid. But I'm sorry.
Pull
Was
it
it
off the computer, then
mustard?
we're back down on casters.
Mustard. I could.
Yes,
we have
mustard.
a second cam actually. We could have. If I had been smarter, I
Oh.
would have set up like the shot building cam.
Now, Gabby, just for context, at the beginning of the year, we asked if what we're doing right now, is going to be possible. I didn't even see the mustard go in.
It was in there. I promise it's in there.
Okay, can you see it? At
I will let
do I
Gabby be the
have
judge.
to
I
add
cannot
more?
see any yellow on that at all.
It was 2. What a dollop? It's 2 dollops.
One more dollop.
One more dollop. Okay,
just
make
a little.
sure to
You don't
watch
even have
this
to make
time.
it big.
I'm gonna make sure I get it so the camera can get it too. Oh no, it's still there. splashed.
fork? Where's
There's
the
a
fork?
splash zone.
Why don't you hold it in one hand?
You
and
got
then
bean
put the-
sauce on my keyboard.
Not on the keyboard.
Well, my keyboard pad for wrists. If anybody doesn't have this, make sure, as a gamer, you should have a pad for your keyboard and your mouse so that your wrists are in a safe position.
Oh, that smells awful.
Yeah, I'm sure.
luck.
I'm going to go microwave this. Keep talking about the game.
So, we were
And
talking...
also explain why we're doing this. You have no internet.
Yeah, so originally the context was we asked if we could do this on purpose before, because it would be really cool to like kind of
Yeah.
simulate the studio experience by going to each other's houses now that we're all in LA, because this wasn't possible. I was in Seattle, Cubby was in Chicago, Mark was in Salt Lake, but now we can do it. And the other thing was that because of all the rain, because of how bad the weather's been in LA recently, we lost internet a couple days ago. We were worried we weren't going to be able to do the show yesterday. Then our internet came back for yesterday. And then today, we woke up around now 13 minutes before call time. It was like, hey guys, our internet's not working. So we called up the cabana and was like, hey, we're going to come over. That's why on here, I'm sitting in Steve's room. And on the other stream, I believe Cubby is sitting in Mazelle's room. They're doing a live cast together, but I think they're casting together at the very least. Don't remember what's
Yeah.
happening over there.
I think that's how it ended up being, because there's so much shuffling around and
It's a
things.
lot.
I was just here during tech checks and I just kept my cam on and was like, I don't know. We'll see who's here too. Oh man, I feel like
I see steam coming off of it.
Yeah, waiting for him to put his headset on.
Oh, I
fast.
can smell it
So,
from here. It's so bad.
Steve, did
caught.
it bubble or anything when you microwave? Like, describe to me what it was like while it was in
Nope.
the microwave.
I don't know about in the microwave, but post microwave, it's struggling to maintain form.
Like, do you think the beans have soaked up all the other flavors?
I hope so.
What, did the heat
I really
manage to
hope so.
infuse?
I think I heated it up too much. Like, it's very warm.
It looks
20 seconds was too long. I did 10, and I was like, that's not enough. And I did 10 more.
there's hot milk.
Yeah.
Oh, I smell it. Oh, no.
Camera's there. Camera's there.
All right, I got my coffee. We're going to have... Do I have to do the whole thing?
Yes.
Ah, why did I fill it so high?
That was your choice.
Lunacia, why didn't you get 2 solo kills? I had so much faith.
I honestly was. I thought it was about a 50-50. So.
You're
I think it was
just
a good bet.
carb loading.
There's a chance. You know, I'm going to do this without the headset on. There's a chance that I might have to just run out of the room.
Okay.
Do you need a bucket nearby?
There's a trash can like
Ah.
5 feet from us. I think we're
Didn't
okay.
they have to do that on Fear Factor and stuff? They would have like
Yeah.
stuff
He
nearby.
just asked, why do I end up doing this to myself every year? Last year was smoothies.
Hype up, getting you hype.
Let's
yeah,
go,
yeah,
Steve.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go, Steve. Let's go, Steve.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
go,
yeah,
Steve.
Yeah, yeah.
Let-
I will. Cheers. To,
That's the coffee.
yeah.
Pre-game.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta finish it. You can see, like, already our white balance makes it look very red. He's even more red now. Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
Well.
That's pretty nasty.
Well.
I applaud you, I suppose.
Yeah, you didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
Oh. Getting the beans down was the hard. I had to, like, speed chew.
Speech.
Speed chew the beans. We're ready for Pick and Pan yet? Thank goodness.
We are. All right.
Take your
Yeah.
well-deserved break.
I don't get a break. I have to be here for
Oh,
Pick
because
and
you have to be here.
We got one camera set up, Gabby.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, aren't
So
you glad this is the week you chose to join Challengers League
Yeah.
with us this year?
I am.
had
I
yesterday.
feel free. Look, I even have more space than usual. I was thinking that earlier, even though
True.
it's just a perception thing. Like, look at this.
I know, you have so much more space.
Man, that looks amazing. Wait, is that a desk to your right? Or is that just open space? I can't tell. Yeah. What
That
is
a
that?
dog bed.
Oh, where's the dog?
We have to barricade me in the office when this happens because
otherwise
as y'all
Keanu
know
and
for
Loki
meeting
will
days.
just keep
Yeah.
coming through.
See, what you don't
hanging out.
understand is that is actually better content than we could ever provide. So,
See, everyone says that, and it is great. And then for the first few minutes until they're like, "Hey, we gotta like get on in the show," and they're like here, and they're like, "Yeah, I wanna play." Like, why are you not throwing the ball, Mom? Why?
And then when you ignore them, they want to leave. Yeah, it becomes a whole big thing. I
And
understand.
I feel
I'm
bad.
still trying to get a bird.
Make me feel shame.
So,
A bird.
Ooh, I had a bird once.
Yeah.
I had two.
Do you understand how long birds live and how annoying
I'm
they
not
are?
getting a parrot. They'd be like a parakeet. They live like 15 years. I've had them before.
Oh, okay, so
Oh,
you
only
know about the
15
cleaning.
years.
That's
Sorry.
like a dog, life of a dog.
But you know how
But it's a bird.
the amount of poop, right? That
I've
you've
had
them
birds before. Yeah, I've had
Okay.
parakeets. So they can
That
come.
was-
I guess if you've had one before, I won't judge.
important
Let's catch
thing-
up on pick
Yeah.
One more
Oh,
thing.
yes.
The important thing about the bird that I used to have, his name was Kirby, and so what he would do is he'd come, he'd perch on your fingers like this, he'd go like that, and you'd hang there like a bat.
See, and
That's
we
not what
have,
Kirby does.
there's birds in the NACL too. Because
True.
look what FLYF.
Wow, there's one.
Walked
Good
in.
segue.
Look at that.
We're back in.
Where's bird number 2? And will we get bird 3? Azir is up as well.
This year is
Yeah, that's
available.
true. Lots of birds. Sometimes the
again.
other people like to take the bird though. They're like,
What's the
you
word,
got
Fly
one
Fam?
bird. I want to take a bird for us, but I don't
True.
think IMT is gonna take the other bird.
Okay.
At least the lover bird.
I want to point something out here. Jungle Pool is pinched again, not quite to the same extent, but still pinched. Chad's going to Graves. This is a pick that Chad loves. It's been in his champ pool for pretty much his entire competitive career, and I do like it with things like the Lulu, because now you have 2 carries
Yeah.
that the Lulu can try and buff up.
It's really hard to kill Graves as well, right? It's just so much extra armor that you get off of your quick draw passive, off of the true grit, and when you have the extra shields and the extra damage, it just takes forever to actually kill this character. And so we do see another bird coming out here for FLYF
Bird
as
two.
we move into the second stage of the second stage
The
of the
bird
ban.
phase. Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
they're back there too, actually.
The
And
birds.
Rakan?
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
one sec.
I can't really tell. Yeah, go grab those.
Yeah.
I don't really. I have a Braum. That's it. And then other like things that aren't League of Legends. I guess we have a Teemo out in the
You
other
have
room.
this.
I do have that. That's more Braum. It's kind of stuck to the wall. We
Okay.
can't really grab that. If it's show and tell, I got a Bard behind me. I guess
Show and
that's
tell.
like part of my stream setup.
True. Yeah, you got some cool things on the walls, and ooh,
One bird,
one bird,
and
two
then I
bird.
put them in the opposite hands. 2 birds, because then
Two
they like
birds.
fit
That's
together in
incredible.
their pose.
Aw.
That's cool.
Whee!
That's
very
cool.
cute.
That's instinct and sword, everybody.
Yeah.
Instinct and sword.
Real representation. I am a very clumsy person though, so I'm gonna put them exactly in their spot now, so I don't
Nice.
whack them over mid-cast.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Look at this. Olaf and Poppy bans. Those are top lane bans.
Those are.
Yeah.
Going up against ADD. The Camille has been banned. The Camille's been banned. The Yone's been banned. I mean, Lunacia has been getting most of his games in on Jax and Cassante. And it's gonna
Yeah,
be
just
the
go back to the
once
Jax, yeah.
again. But the Poppy counterpick is not available here. This is the game that you probably should have made the bet.
Yeah, I think can
Yeah.
we retroactively change the bet?
Retroactively, can I undrink
When you already
this?
did-
I
the
think
thing-
I am gonna undrink it at some point after, based on how my stomach's currently feeling.
Ugh.
So maybe we just do it again. The Croc is locked in though. Now is the counter. AP damage. Yet the Counter Strike isn't gonna get that much mileage out of the Jax. I do like this matchup.
Yeah, it is definitely a pretty decent matchup for the Gragas coming through, just because you do have the ability to knock Jax around, knock him out of the counter
Oh,
strike.
they're taking the bird.
So a different bird.
They're taking the bird
More
away from the
birds.
bird team.
All the birds.
Oh, okay. Thank
Uh,
goodness.
Hey, so Bolulu 2 games in a row with mid picks that really like
Seems
to go
to-
other places.
We don't have Braum though. It
But
could be
there's-
like Gragas, Rise, Braum.
Yeah. There's already.
And behind
there's just
Braum.
two bald characters.
I'm hearing production wants to hear Braum.
Yeah,
Let's,
wants to
let
see
me
Braum.
go grab
Alright,
that.
we'll go
real
grab
quick. It's
that.
just right.
It's show and tell.
I'm
Kind of
trying to
Oh, yes,
not
yes.
take off my headset. Okay, I got it. I reached.
I know. Luckily, I keep it loud enough where even when I take it off, I can vaguely hear y'all when I'm going back there. So I'm like, all right. Oh,
I have a
yeah.
habit.
Hey, look, 3 birds.
3 birds! We got bird team!
3 birds coming through. Okay.
Who needs
now,
2 birds, 1 stone? We got 3 birds.
Latigrus.
3 birds, 2 stones.
The Tigress, I'm gonna need you to do something for me right now.
Yes.
You need to pull up a search engine of your preference and search
Mhm.
bird puns. And sneak as many as you can in this cast, because this is your time. This is your moment.
We need to juxtapose the bird puns with the horse puns.
Oh yeah, this is a derby.
It's a derby day. I was really
Is there-
hoping
are
that
there-
Balulu would play another Talia game so you could kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Mm.
That would be good. Have you seen the bird races where it's like pigeon raisers will like put the trackers, and then like it's like a marathon of like how far they can go or whatever.
Right, you have to get back to the roost.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, those are
first
funny.
pigeon to do it. It's very big in China.
Well, let's see if FlyFam can get back home.
Yeah, we'll see.
Or if it's broken by now. We gotta pass it back to the Tigers and Joshi. They get into game number 2.
Bye, Steve.
Bye. I hope the reversal of your bet payoff goes smoothly.
Yeah. We didn't establish what the terms were of the next one.
Nope.
He looks like he might need to go undrink it. So
so he'll go undrink and FlyQuest finding a nice little nest here in the bot lane with the entirety of their fam.
Yeah. We'll see how well they can actually find a roost around this. This is very bold from ADD.
Oh, and starting to get roasted in the center of the pit. First bird to get the kill is Instincts. That wasn't a good pun. That was just saying the word bird.
True. I would be honest. That might have been the biggest int I've seen this whole year. Like, what was? You saw the word go down. You know there's people there.
And FlyFam have made these big clustered rotations in multiple. It's not always in the same direction. So at least from what it seems like in a lot of their early games, they do like to take that aggressive approach. And now the aggressive follow-up. Get the flash out of Joey as well and expelled with a heal in return from Instinct.
What is going on, Gabby? We just saw ADD gift over a free killed Instinct. Joey had to lose his flash at level 1 and Instinct using heal. Like, this is going to be a weird game. It's been a weird day. It's going to be a weird game yet again this time as we see both junglers starting up towards the top side. Chad has oftentimes done this when he goes for our full clears. He'll oftentimes do Gromp Wolves and then clear the bottom side of the map, whereas Hyper is oftentimes one of these players who hasn't established themselves as having like a most typical route just because they haven't had enough games to make it happen. But on Sejuani's, we tend to not see early ganks towards the top side. If you're going to gank, it's usually towards the bottom lane.
Already giving us a little more information that we can start to develop on Hyper on picks like the Sejuani that will continue to be very prominent within the current meta. But yeah, Fly really taking a lot of these aggressive looks over in the bot side, want to establish a pecking order against Wixie and Joey, and thus far have been able to do so to a small degree. Everyone else pretty much going on as planned, though.
Yeah. And this is also definitely a spot where Balulu should have a much better opportunity to go for this laning phase than they did on the Talia previously as Chad. Huh. That was interesting. But they do end up getting level 3 overall, and now as they walk into it, it should be very difficult for Hyper to actually try and contest this.
Yes, Chad getting started on the blue buff. Hyper finishing off the
Never
wolves
bet against
here.
ADD.
Yeah, this is
Says Immortals.
Where everyone goes wrong, and Immortals knows it. Having faith, obviously, in their top laner here. Looks like we're getting a bit more of a rotation from this bot lane to ensure that Hyper has some way of contesting if they choose to do so. Tried to get the lockdown onto Wixie, but not quite successful. So Chad does manage to grab this blue buff. Hyper on the Gromp right now does have a mode of escapability if necessary, but really wanting to own this.
Ooh.
A little bit of a shove onto Chad, but lots of damage follow-up. Look at how unhealthy Hyper was and had to flash.
Yeah, and I think Chad actually got the Gromp too. We're still fighting.
Lays all the way, and luckily Azir has that range to get on out. So while we had that skirmish in the jungle side, a bit of the mid intervention going down as well.
Yeah, that move was something that's typically been more common with teams like Team Liquid Challengers or Cloud9 Challengers, right? These very aggressive moves, and now they're coming down. Remember, there's no heal on Instinct, but Chad wants to make sure that they can clean up. Remember, taking away your opponent's camps is not the most useful thing if you're not clearing your own camps. You get less gold off of taking your opponent's camps, and so Chad will need to clear out his bottom side. As Graves, you do it very quickly.
Ooh, lots of slamming over on top. Coming in with a teleport for Balulu just to return to lane. That was a lot of forward positioning here from IMT. They were moving past this wave to attempt to get some pressure onto Sword, as well as Instinct in the return. Flashing forward, heals expelled. Joey going down at the hand of Sword.
I don't know what it is about this game, but like, Joey's been very, very aggressive. That's the second time he's found himself in a really bad position, trying to stop backs, trying to keep people in the lane. And now, I mean, that's going to be another kill, another assist going over to the bottom lane of FlyFam, and it feels like IMT, they're just making their game more difficult than it needs to be by not necessarily showing FlyFam the proper respect, right? We've been saying FlyFam's problems are not during the laning phase. They actually do a fairly decent job there, and Instinct and Sword, now that they have all this extra gold, have kind of made up for the fact that this lane has been a little bit difficult for them to play.
And now getting that backing opportunity to capitalize upon the pressure that they have been answering back to, because Wixie and Joey really, as you're saying, maybe not showing as much of that respect as needed here in the laning phase. And you could even see the way that Hyper was making that rotation over towards top. They elected to not go for that dive. That wave was pushed up against ADD, but still you like to see Hyper looking for those opportunities to really offset any aggressive attempts by IMT on the opposite side of the map. Lunacia and ADD going at it again, though. I know that we, for many reasons, have eyes on this solo lane matchup. We'll have to eventually establish what the reversal of the bet is going to be after this one.
Yeah, I don't know. We're already well underway at this point. The solo kills are much less likely to come out for a little while. And as we start to... just kidding.
They gonna try. They gonna try.
That's here.
And ADD throwing down the control, has Chad here to lock down Lunacia. Wants to get the kill because he knows that the jungler is here, and if he can get the 1-for-1 ADD out of it, though. Lunacia flashing forward for the attempt. One more smack does it. Chad with a reversal. So jungler intervention on the top side results in the deaths of both of the laners. Wixie now the alternate death for the bot lane. Hyper again trying to answer the plays made by IMT.
Wow, and Lunacia does end up getting one solo kill. I mean, halfway to two, like we were talking about before. And FlyFam, the fascinating thing, right? They're up 3 kills, but they're only up about 600 gold, right? IMT have done a really good job actually maintaining their lanes. And Chad, with the lead that they actually built earlier, again, doing a pretty good job maintaining this CS advantage going up against Hyper. And IMT, Joey, again, being very unsafe here.
Well, luckily now has Lulu, because Joey can't afford to give over some more deaths unnecessarily for FlyQuest, who got a dragon for themselves. It's the same thing we saw last time around, right? Still executing well in the early game. They pick up the first dragon here and will likely be looking to stack it up. Bounty on the head of Instinct because of their play thus far. So Immortals maybe taking a breath now from here on out.
Hopefully we'll see a little bit of that. But as we were talking about earlier, right, there's a lot of doping players here in FlyQuest. They don't necessarily need to make plays for a while. They scale super well. Yes, there are some problems with trying to range Zeri, but Zeri's going to be able to do that relatively effectively. There's some ideas like actually out DPSing Ryze, but because you have so much range on both of your primary carries here for FlyQuest, they can allow this game to go longer, right? It is still on IMT to try and make a lot of these more aggressive plays, and they're a very low crowd control team here, Gabby. They really only have the root coming in from Balulu and ADD's explosive casks in order to try and get some of these fights started.
It's such a good point to make when tracking how they do at the later portions in the game, because we're looking at those realm warps from Balulu in the early stages. Where can he affect the map with that roaming potential? And if he doesn't manage to get a good rune prison or something of the like onto the carries of FlyQuest, it's difficult. And when there's multiple ranged carries, it's not just Blaze, it's also Instinct that they are going to have to worry about. So FlyQuest right now with the gold lead almost to a full 1,000, making the rotation over towards this Rift Herald. ADD, Chad, Joey, and Balulu with all of their sights on Fly as they're making this play. They have to decide if they want to contest, and it's just so much of a presence from FlyFam right now.
Yeah, and IMT wisely going to be backing away, right? Wixie is left down in the bottom side, so we'll see how much damage they actually get onto the turret because Instinct did not commit all the way. Balulu,
Sword always looking for those engages. Root on the retreat, but that is the ebb and flow of Sword, even though ebb and flow is a Nami ability. For Sword on Rakan, you still have that same kind of cadence. Jumping in for the knockup, getting the battle dance out, seeing if something does land and people feel like they can follow up on it, great. If not, we're just getting a bit of that harass. And now with that rotation from the rest of the team for FlyQuest, they can move comfortably throughout their jungle despite IMT's movement along this bot side.
and IMT, I mean, they're going right back to the way that they were playing the game earlier on. They have the priority in the bottom side of the map, and now they're looking for another invade onto Hyper. Last time they were here, Hyper had to use the flash.
And
be able
was
to walk out.
very hungry for that Grump last time as well. Ultimate thrown out to get that stun onto Chad. Ooh, Hyper has to flash out again. Ignite at the ready as well. Joey and the team now standing on the blast cone. They know that Blaze is here, but seeing if Instinct is going to try to wrap around to get a kill onto any of them. Joey still a likely target if Sword can make something happen, but too much distance for them to cross right now.
Yeah. I mean, Joey now has no flash. A very aggressive attempt at the polymorph there on the other side. And we are seeing at least IMT are kind of clawing back a lot of the gold lead that FlyFam were able to build up previously. Chad continuing to live in Hyper's jungle. And now, at least he gets some Big Wolf. But still, Chad is just having a lot of freedom to move up because of the way that IMT have been playing around these lane priorities and the tempo that they build by pushing out the waves, whereas FlyFam, you know, every time they've been going for some of these plays, they're sacrificing a little bit more than IMT has when they actually go for their own.
And IMT, I think, are definitely aware of that when they're looking at the current game state, and having a player like Chad on the Graves, who's very comfortable on the pick, but also pretty warmed up on it, having just played Graves yesterday in the match against CLG Faith. So if you are looking for the chance to make the plays, mid lane is one place to have it happen. Balulu, the subject of the action, and Blaze walking away with the kill. So FlyQuest, they saw that window starting to close, and now they took it.
Yeah, we said, Gabby, we've been saying this over and over. IMT needs to win this game to really be in consideration for opportunities to really go deep in playoffs, right? You have the clutch factor, but you don't want to be relying on it. And FlyFam, I mean, they got a couple gifts towards them earlier on in the game, right? ADD, Joey, both giving them a couple of freebies. Now, FlyFam, they're the ones starting to actually make some of these proactive plays, and they actually have a lot of strength kind of across the board. Lunacia traded out. He got that solo kill previously. Instinct already very strong. We know this team scales incredibly well, and as we set up for another dragon, it's FlyFam who are already here first, setting up some vision.
Yeah, starting to feel themselves, getting these good setups online, feeling good about the gold that they have in their pockets compared to the opposition. I think the jungle position is the only one where the gold reversal is the case. So FlyQuest, seeing if they can convert that throughout the entirety of the game will be the question when looking specifically at this team. ADD trying to stop the back. Can't quite do it, but Fly now starting up the second dragon of the game. They know that ADD was already over on top side. No teleport intervention possible, so Fly stringing together the second one.
And IMT also bringing a lot of members over. Like, FlyFam have been baiting them into situations where IMT are getting nothing on the map. And Lunacia coming right on back to lane. Lulu going to be choosing to go for the Scuttle Crab instead. And that's going to be a little bit more money funneled into one of the big birds. Blaze will be able to pick up a couple of plates here, but it will be killed off by Chad. So nothing too dire coming through just quite yet. But it does feel as though FlyFam, right, the question always is, we've seen situations where they are strong early on, but they've oftentimes struggled to close out the game. And now Hyper making another aggressive play towards ADD.
At the ready, Sword and Blaze here to help out the squad. ADD, I think, sees the future ahead. So many enemy bars in the sights. Ultimate thrown down in response because Chad and Balulu have come. So Immortals reacting well to the setup that FlyQuest was offering.
Good stuff coming out from ADD, right? Dodging out on so much of that aggression. But here comes Wixie looking for Instinct.
Oh, lying in wait. Wixie over the wall, lasered on through. Gonna start juggling that aggro though, and they're pretty squishy. Wild growth onto Lulu. They do finish off the kill. Another shot from the tower though means it's a 1-for-1.
And there you go, IMT. They're trying to make something happen on the other side. Joey will be getting some damage, and doesn't even pick up the plate gold. But IMT, they're trying to make counter plays, and it's crazy. They're still even in this game, despite all the plays going in favor of FlyFam thus far.
Exactly. These are very much plays that are steered by FlyFam and getting little micro wins. But here past 14 minutes, Immortals just looking for the opportunity to stabilize. You look at the carries down in bot and they're pretty even in gold currently. They're not really as much of a big difference in gap as maybe FlyQuest were hoping for based on some of the tactics prior.
As we start looking towards where Immortals can really get into this game, right? The fact that they are even is good considering how poorly a lot of the actual fights have gone, but they need to find an opportunity to get ahead. If they can start dictating the tempo, because there's such a low engage on this team, they really need to start trying to find ways to be aggressive. And Sword jumping over the wall, getting a little bit of damage, is very clearly saying that FlyQuest are now feeling the opportunity to start making their own plays. They're moving around more proactively. They're doing all the basic things you need to do by taking all the dragons, taking the Rift Heralds, starting to get things set up. And it really will only take like one major misstep from Immortals or one good play from FlyFam in order to give FlyFam an opportunity to play for their second win of the season.
Already looking at the slight differences between games 1 and 2, because even though they had 2 dragons in game 1, they're now picking up the second Herald, whereas they were kind of traded back and forth prior. ADD, though, in some trouble. Joey with the ultimate and the polymorph to follow. Lunacia now is only looking for the exit sign, taking one life right by the neck on the output, though. Ooh, getting some more action with the solo laners being killed off, and the Rift Herald now thrown down immediately after acquisition from FlyQuest, allowing them to finish off this mid turret.
I can't believe Lunacia actually got 2 solo kills, both of them in 1v2s, going up against ADD. And now Chad is looking to get caught.
Hyper winding on up, blast cone towards Balulu, but Blaze and more just ready to throw everything they got in store at Chad, who falls. ADD now just once more emerging, no teleport here. Coming on through, Wixie seeing if he can dish out some damage in the follow-up. Blaze brought on down and continues to be blazing by the damage dished out, and Instinct on the retreat. Lots of heals and more thrown out by FlyQuest so they don't lose any more members, and still no jungler present from Immortals. Teleport here for the sandwich on in, route onto Wixie. Balulu wants to go towards ADD, the biggest tank that can try and keep alive, but not there quick enough. Lunacia full and healthy, zoning off for the rest, and Hyper just making sure that Instinct and Sword can get out of this alive.
And that's another play going in favor of FlyFam. Is enough to break the camel's back? It's hard to say. But Immortals, they're just getting pushed around yet again. And FlyFam, they're dictating the pace of the game, right? Sword's the one who makes the play. They go for this big dive. They go for everything. And just having so many opportunities to play for this advantage is not something we're very used to seeing. I've honestly been really impressed with the way that Sword and Hyper have started looking for some of these plays, which has been one of the big downfalls for FlyFam thus far. If they can keep this up, like, I was not expecting to be casting a FlyFam win today, but this is so exciting to see them actually dictating everything. They're going to be picking up this Mountain Dragon unless Immortals can pull out a miracle.
That's right, already starting it up, and Chad and Joey are in the vicinity, but no one was able to get here from Immortals first. They pulled the dragon out of the pit for better positioning. Wixie and the rest of the squad are here, but you see Lunacia also zoning off ADD. ADD does have teleport, but trying the darndest. Here's the Realm War right in the back, and now the teleport coming in from ADD. Dragon finished off by red side, but the knockback and the Emperor's Divide coming into play. Balulu sped up and large from the work of Joey. Wants to find some follow-up, but it's very different than what we have seen before. Instinct now losing one life for FlyQuest, but when thinking back to even Dragon number 2 in game 1, where it was FlyQuest getting that dragon, but they lost so many lives afterwards, IMT only picking up one, that's not too bad, and you got out the teleport from ADD.
Yeah, and the crazy thing too, right, is like, despite the way that this game looks so far in favor of FlyFam, and you know, the League of Legends client disagrees. It's saying that FlyFam are not far enough ahead for IMT to even be picking up objective bounties at this position. And as we take a look at the gold, the big thing that we have to look at is where the gold is kind of fighting this advantage. It's not really anywhere. It's actually super close in almost every position, with the one place where FlyFam actually has a gold lead is in the mid lane, where Blaze, you know, up about 1,000 gold, but the gold still remains so even. Immortals doing so many little things right, making sure that they can get the farm down. They're just losing every single one of these interactions.
And 2 ways to look at it. Immortals keeping it fairly close despite a lot of these plays going the way of FlyQuest, but also for FlyQuest, them having this sort of lead with even kill nature across the squad is a good look. Yes, there were a couple solo kills that were very impressive from Lunacia upon the collapse, but when your team is trying to get wins, it's one thing if, oh yeah, we got a couple wins, but one person on our team was just so far ahead. It was just so impossible, versus, no, our team was being proactive. We were responding to the state of the map. We were using any intel that we had on Chad's positioning to know when we should be aggressing forward and not. Stacking these dragons, getting both of the Rift Heralds. That's team play right there that they can look back upon fondly.
And now, Immortals, they have to start thinking about how to deal with this Baron because FlyFam are already looking to set it up, right? They're playing around where Chad has been, and Immortals, they still don't have the items on Balulu or Wixie to have either of them be super strong threats to actually punch through Hyper, to punch through Lunacia. It's still a situation where FlyFam are far enough ahead that they can rely a little bit on the fact that they are moving a little bit better and a little bit faster to a lot of these objectives. And so, as we see this potential double split push coming out from Balulu, he's not yet in a position where he can actually fight Lunacia one-on-one, and that's why he needs the shadow from Chad.
Oh, Joshi, we're at 20 minutes into the game right now, though, and I know you've talked about these FlyFam moments.
No.
Oh,
ADD moment.
ADD moment. That's a bit what we're accustomed to this time around. Nowhere to go, flash away, ultimate used, ADD has fallen. But as somebody very familiar with their play, I'll actually hold this question. I just want to see if Immortals are going to attempt to offset them at all. Nope. So as somebody who's been watching a lot of FlyFam, and you talk about these Fly moments that happen for them, are you still worried because you've just seen this too many times before? Or do you feel like this is different than other times when they've acquired an early lead?
This feels different for FlyFam, right? So they still have the core problem of, even when they've gone for all of these dragons and been aggressive that way about taking objectives, they're still very cautious when it comes to actually taking some of the fights. And you will need to fight your opponents in order to win the game. They've been very good at coming up with picks, though, and that's the thing that feels very different for them. FlyFam have not been a team that has been super proactive about that in the past, and this is going to be one of the big opportunities for them to actually play with that, right? They have a gold lead, they have all these dragons, and now that they only have one simple thing left to do, they've been so good at getting all the neutral objectives back to back to back that they have to be ready to go over towards this dragon. They need to start looking to back away, get all the gold that they have just spent turned into items. And this feels like just a very classic game from a lot of teams that just hasn't been played by FlyQuest in the past, and they're getting freebies like this all over the place.
We just saw this happen on the top side, and now on the bot side, ADD in the center of the lane. No turret to retreat to, using all resources. Still down on the flash from the last death, and now 0-5 upon these collapses. FlyQuest, this means that Blaze is all alone in the mid lane. Rooted, ultimates used. So Immortals responding by trying to get some advantage on this side. They don't actually choose to continue collapsing upon the turret, instead going right into the river to set up around Bear, but Lunacia polymorphed immediately on entry. The sword going in, the stun and more. The lockup onto Chad. Chad trying to flash out of it, but can't do it. The collateral damage not enough to get the kill, and the continuation of the work that Lunacia has put in a solo level now showing out in the fight. Hyper almost falling though here. 2 eliminated for FlyQuest, and Balulu and Wixie, the damage dealers, seeing the teleport coming in from ADD. What can they do with having somebody on the beefier side standing in front of them and the remaining members of FlyQuest? Teleport response here. Instinct with the Featherstone looking for the drawback, gets the lockdown onto Wixie. The sword marked down low. ADD teleporting in late. Now the last one standing. It's just a death match across the board. Multiple lives lost on both sides.
Oh, but you see why we're still a little bit worried, but it feels different, right? Lunacia already 7-2-1, has a Spear Shojin completed. Big lead coming out there. A lead is starting to build even further here for Blaze. It's getting a little bit bigger, but IMT, they're scrapping back and forth and back and forth. But the problems of their composition, they're getting outranged. They don't have any crowd control. They don't have any ways to prevent Lunacia and Hyper from coming in, because ADD keeps getting cut out from the rest of the team. And now, as the Mountain Soul is getting played for by FlyFam, this should be enough for them to actually take the game. You already see the pings from Immortals saying, we're not going over there. We got to go towards the Baron.
Just under 4,000 gold lead. 4 turrets to really put pressure on this map. Now Soul acquired. FLYF feeling good in this matchup against Immortals. And you're calling it out. ADD wasn't there to throw down an explosive cast or anything at the start. Couldn't come in until the final moments to try and help Balulu and Wixie in their stand, but it wasn't enough. And now FlyQuest, with all of their tools to be able to zone off. Look at the way that Sword can just go and make that face at him on the jungle side so that FlyQuest can secure yet another turret.
Yeah, and Immortals. I mean, the one player that they really have that can kind of go off still is Wixie, right? We saw some big moments from him coming out yesterday going up against CLG Faith. We saw some close moments from him this game where they weren't quite able to really have these big moments, but it's really going to need to be Wixie. He's going to be the only one who can really shred through some of these big tanks on the side of FlyFam, right? Both Lunacia and Hyper are so good at dealing with some of these auto-attacking champions that it's going to be Wixie who has to do almost all the damage in these upcoming fights, and I don't know if he has the range, I don't know if he has the gold to make that happen yet because of how effectively FlyFam have been taking fights before they're ready.
Especially when you're looking at, hey, there's a stopwatch there for Lunacia. No teleport, though, as Balulu. This time is not ADD, but it's still somewhat important to IMT. Balulu falling, and every time that Immortals lose a member, FlyQuest have done a great job of capitalizing and finding a moment for themselves.
Yeah. Feels like so much of this game has been FlyFam just preying on the fact that IMT haven't been respecting them, and now they're going to be starting up the Baron. Balulu's not around. Can Wixie go nuts? It's their only way.
Burns down past 4,000 for a moment, and there's the forward push. The Emperor's Divide on the exit. Polymorph already utilized.
Wixie!
Up the side. Instinct throwing down the Featherstorm. Tries to get the answer onto Wixie, but Wixie comes out on top. FlyQuest still trying to gain this prio and get the stun up and the follow-up onto Wixie, but Wixie gets the double before going down. FlyQuest zoning off ADD, zoning off Joey. Lunacia been putting in the work at this point. Balulu on the backside, though. Root and more onto Lunacia. Now at the disposal of the rest of the squad. Look at that damage coming on out. ADD going for the follow-up. And with the retreat of one member of FlyQuest, they don't have any reason to stick around just yet. Immortals getting the last drop.
No way!
Flash over the wall for the blood denial. That's illegal from Hyper. Hey,
that's
Joshi,
insane.
You get it? Illegal? Bird pun? That's illegal. That is illegal. Boom. It'd been a while since we did a bird pun, and Steve had challenged us, so that's the best I got.
All right, I do respect it. I do like it coming through. I was not expecting that at all, but oh my god, Gabby. FlyFam, they get away with 2 Baron buffs. Hyper gets to keep his, and Blaze never was under threat. We saw Wixie looking for these big opportunities to go big, but going a little bit too far forward and getting themselves caught. Immortals have one way back in at this point, and that is coming around the Elder Dragon. They have to hold on for 2.5 minutes. They have to hold all their towers, but they're going to get outranged here. They're going to have to lose everything that's not part of their base. That's so difficult for IMT to kind of come back. We'll see if they can actually bring their tank. ADD has never been there for the engage of any of these fights.
And Zero Love's taking down these towers. FlyQuest range just poking on down. They've got the waves coming on through, and that is a difference here. ADD being here right at the start, but how much time can Immortals buy in these fights to get the burn they need? Because Instinct always primed to have that Featherstorm at the ready to escape a lot of the layering of damage from Immortals. Yeah, it's really difficult for them to hold off against this when Lunacia, as a singular threat, has been able to maintain pressure on these opposing lanes.
Yeah, and wow, Balulu's still only he's still only level 15, doesn't have the 1,000 damage every time he presses Q on one of the Flux targets. That comes through, that'll be a big moment. That's level 16. Balulu does a lot more damage all of a sudden, and so maybe there's the damage necessary to actually punch through these frontline tanks. But again, Immortals, they need to be willing to give up everything. They have to play for Elder Dragon. There's no way they're going to be winning a fight without it. And now Immortals, and they're holding. This is what we were looking at before, right? FlyFam, they tend to play these games really, really slowly, even when they're very strong.
And slow can be good, though, if you're making sure that you're not giving over any unnecessary advantages, and ADD, just because of the way that Fly are pushing forward as that soul tank, just taking so much damage. And yes, you got a bit of that sustain, you got the shields coming through, but it's just Fly trying to slowly whittle down before they're forced to make any engage. And continuous drawing of the attention of Balulu by Lunacia. And the wave on that top side, there was a portion where I was just looking at the map and I thought, oh Lord, they got another just wave of pressure coming where Immortals are going to be stretched thinner and thinner as time goes on.
Yeah, Baron buff is gone. Elder is spawning in 30 seconds. IMT have effectively held Instinct.
Oh, they get the root onto Instinct. So this is a Featherstorm ahead of that next fight and the Realm Warp coming through, but right in the center of so many members. Balulu getting Wild Growth ultimated before now being on the retreat. They lose 3 for Immortals. They lose 4. Balulu trying to make the play to prevent FlyQuest for going for the Elder, but in the end, it gives Fly Fam the opportunity to throw it back. Ace achieved. And after being 1 in 22 before this matchup, FlyQuest finally doubling their wins.
They get it. They are 2 and 22, but they take a game. IMT has the 4-0 denied, and we get to see FlyFam actually come back. They find another one. The number of picks they got in that was absolutely wild, but FlyFam tying up the series is a massive achievement for a team that has been looking for their second win of the season.
Is their second win of the season. They denied Immortals the 4-0 weekend in what was supposed to be their easy weekend. And Lunazi got 2 solo kills, baby.
He did.
It. It was just one game late for my safety and purposes. But you know what? We'll still take it. That was sick. Whew. Wow. This is huge for FlyFam, for FlyQuest, for Lunacia as a player, somebody we've been hyping up. Hyper coming in. That was such a slick escape when he like Arctic assaults and flashes. I was like, oh, certainly he's dead.
There's no way he gets out of this, and he's alive, man. Ill Eagle.
Ill Eagle.
Ill Eagle. Did you hear that, Kangas?
I did.
All right,
I did hear that. Yep, that was a good one.
I was like, I just needed to get one in there for you, but I'm glad they gave enough room to do so. We are going to take a bit of a breather. On the other side of a break, they'll be hopping in an interview with one of the victorious FlyQuest fam members. I'll see you there. Welcome back to the NACL for our Verizon post-game interview. I've got Hyper here after a Fly Fam victory against Immortals Challengers. I want to start a bit more generally. You're coming into this roster partway through the season. Tell me about your season so far, coming back into this level of play and joining your teammates here.
Feels good playing against better players, but yeah, we just got to work on stuff.
Let's talk a bit more.
We're kind of a new team, so, or like I'm new to the team.
How much of a difference do you feel like you're feeling every game that you get with this team, considering that you are new?
What do you mean?
Like each game that you play with this team, since you're new to the roster, do you feel like you're gaining a lot in that practice that you're getting in this time? What are you learning about you in this squad?
I mean, I already played with Sword and Instinct before, so it's like not that new, but yeah, I feel like we're learning every game we play.
Did it feel like, considering you played with Sword and Instinct from your time on TSM, do you feel like they feel like the same players since the last time you played with them, or do you see development in them individually as well?
When I played with Sword, he was a mid laner, so it's different, and Tony, AD, so I think AD is the same, but support's like different because he's playing a different role. Rico.
Yeah, that switch up coming for a lot of players this year. I do want to get into this match a bit more. Against Immortals. Let's start with game number 1. They were throwing a lot of bans your way. Tell me about how you felt in that draft and then the game to follow.
I don't know why they're throwing 5 bans, because I don't think jungle really matters right now. So they're just wasting bans on me. But we still lost, so I guess it's good.
What did you change as a squad to get the victory in game number 2? It's a big victory. Second for the team, but first since you have joined this roster.
I think they just got caught off like 2 times mid. They're mid laner. They just got caught, and then we just went on them.
It does take a good player sense though to take advantage of when those opportunities come through. A lot have been talking
about their sums, and then our mid laner called us over.
Who is talking most in the game, in the early game?
Everyone talks equal.
So no designated shot caller?
Yeah. It depends.
Do you like having it that way, where you can kind of fluidly have everyone talking?
Yeah, I think it's good if everyone like calls their own stuff. But yeah, I think it's fine.
As you're getting through these last matches, though, of the regular season and playoffs around the corner, you know, there's only so many games you have left before you get into playoff territory. What does that mean for you? Do you approach these last games of practice differently in preparation of playoffs, or what are you focusing on?
Oh, we're just trying to get as many wins as we can for better seeding. And we're just like playing to get better because we have a lot to work on.
How important do you think seeding is when it comes to playoffs here?
Let me see.
Because I feel like some players say, oh yeah, I really, really want to focus on seeding, and then sometimes
I think it's good if we get at least top 3 so we don't verse C9 or Dig.
Are they the biggest threats in your head, those two?
Yeah, I think so.
Does anybody else come close?
Not really. I think Wildcard and Pure are beatable, but yeah. They're beatable, but I don't know about Dig and Cena. I mean, we can beat them.
When thinking about how you can beat them, what do you think is your team's biggest strength in beating these top teams?
Wait, what was the question?
What is your team's biggest strength?
Can't say.
Can't say. Not. What about you as a player? Would you say, and this isn't a strategy thing, do you think your biggest strength is like mechanics? Is it what you offer in game knowledge?
Mechanics, but the champs I play, they're kind of dog champs. So I can't really show it.
What? Oh my gosh. I didn't even see that the cat came into the frame. Joshi and the pointing that out. I saw the cat tree earlier, but what's your cat's name?
Nabi. I think my mom named it. It means butterfly in Korean.
Butterfly? Aww.
Yeah.
Have you always had cats?
No, I got her like 2 months ago. I have 2 dogs, so.
Oh, do they all live with you? You have 2 dogs and 1 cat?
Not in my room, but yeah, in the house.
So do you equally like dogs and cats, or are you somebody that's very much one or the other?
Oh, I like cats more because they're easier to take care of.
Oh, you know, I don't think many people are gonna argue with you there. Well, I'm glad that we got to learn about your cat. Last thing I will ask you as I let you go is, what are your dogs' names then? We have Navi the cat, and who are the dogs?
Boshong and Bomi.
Boshong and Bomi?
Mm-hmm. Korean names.
Nice. Well, we learned so much more about you and your fur fam there for the Fly fam. So thank you so much for the interview, and best of luck in your future games.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You as well. All right, everyone watching at home, we've got more gameplay to come, kicking it to a break. But on the other side, we're getting into our next matchup.